Hello, everybody. It is time for a Stanley Cup edition of the Goldie on Ice podcast, something that I'm not sure any of us really were 100% sure we would ever have. Presented by Amerant Bank. Listen, they're great folks over there at Amerant Bank. They're growing in South Florida and sponsoring the Goldie on Ice podcast and all of the content on Twitter and Instagram at Goldie on Ice. Thanks so much to Jerry and the whole crew over there. Where do we start, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you listened to the podcast before Game 7 because while many did, we did not waver. That said, I understand why everybody was nervous going into game number 7, and the Panthers picked the best time to really play Panther hockey in game number 7. They were great. They were tight defensively. Of course, Janmark got free for the breakaway. Of course, like all of the breakaways it seemed in that series, they were in the net. But other than that, the Panthers did an absolutely masterful job in that game on the forecheck. Paul Maurice made some adjustments. There's a reason he's undefeated in game number 7s. And the fact that this team stayed calm and composed was really impressive. And now they are Stanley Cup champions. And everybody deserves it. Personally, I have to tell all of you that are listening, those of you that listen to the podcast, are diehard fans. I know that of the team, and thank you so much. This, kind of outpouring of love has been very humbling to me. I couldn't walk more than 3 feet in the arena. Love taking pictures with everybody and saying hello to everybody, and just really happy for all of the fans, for everybody with the team. And I can tell you this, doing what I do, there's dozens of people behind the scenes with that hockey team that work 15, 20-hour days, and I mean that literally. The equipment staff, Teddy and Dakota and Train, John Kangemi in that video room. That guy is on his computer and working 20 hours a day, and all the coaches, Miles Fee, Sylvain Lefebvre, Jamie Compton, who's now a 3-time champ, Tuomo Ruutu, who is as hardcore as you get, and of course Paul Maurice. The guy lives and breathes this stuff. I don't think Paul Maurice has many other interests. He likes fishing. He loves his family. And that's it. It's video. It's live and breathe hockey. He gets his first cup. And then you've got that medical staff that in part, you have to appreciate them because this team was healthy. And of course, a lot of that goes to the players and how much they work and how they were ready to go at training camp. You know those stories. But from Dave DiNapoli to Brian, Mac, Anthony, Tim, I really don't want to forget anybody. Mike Valsey in there. These guys just work their butts off because I know on the road, if I get up early and I go to the hotel gym, which I do often, these guys have to be in there. They're usually finishing up by 7:30 in the morning because they've got to get to work. And they're at that rink. Forget about the game being at 7 o'clock at night, for example. They're there at 8 o'clock and they're there all day till whatever hour, traveling. So I hope I didn't forget anybody, but these guys work so hard and they're a terrific group of people. And I can tell you this, the way they treat me, as just someone that's around most of the time. As you know, we don't do the games after the first round. Not every game is televised, but they're just wonderful people, and I'm very happy that they could all call themselves Stanley Cup champions. And, of course, Panthers ownership, they were committed the whole way. Cap team, do what they got to do, hiring their hockey ops staff, Bill Zito, and then the entire staff. Guys like Roberto Luongo who get their first cup, but from Vinny Viola, his wife Teresa, they're there living and dying with every shift like everybody. The sons, Michael, Travis, and John, their families, Doug and Melissa Sifu, just happy for all of them, because as we all know, the franchise has been up and down at times. I guess like most franchises, but so many people put in so much time, energy, effort, and financially a commitment. And then you have everybody in the front office. I know everybody knows who President and CEO Matt Caldwell is. There are dozens of people in there that work every day, that sell the tickets, the foundation people. I mean, it just goes on and on. So it is really great to witness everybody getting a piece of this. And of course, to all of you, the loyal fans, none of it is possible without your support. So I want to personally thank you. Again, what a performance in Game 7. They saved their best for last. And Paul Maurice said it, and I know I was thinking the same thing after the first period. You want to win, but however this game goes, Game 7, they brought it from the opening shift. And it's amazing. They never stopped for 60 minutes. And I can tell you this, watching the end of that game, the Edmonton Oilers were out of gas. Those top guys were playing 25, 27 minutes. The Panthers didn't give them an inch to breathe. I know they got free at times during the series. But the Panthers in Game 7, it was on lockdown. And Sergei Bobrovsky, you got to give him credit. I can only imagine what mentally the 10 days were like before Game 7. Now, the Panthers did a great job. They kept him on the outside. Most of the shots, were in the 20s. He was able to see, make the saves he should make. And he made a few that, were really tough to make. But at the end of that game, when the Oilers had McDavid and those guys on the entire time, the Panthers really didn't give up much. And once again, as they did to end the Eastern Conference Final, they pinned that buck to the boards. And I think it was a great microcosm of what this team is about. Hardcore, hard-nosed, on a mission. 85% of the game is played within 3 feet of the boards. And as that time wound down, it was just great that it was done at home. And everybody in that building was able to experience. And those that weren't at the building, you experienced it yourself on TV, whatever you were doing. So now starts the fun. Who's coming? Who's going? What happens in free agency? We'll keep doing the podcast all summer long. So to every one of you listening, you are a Stanley Cup champion now, whatever your piece of it is, because everybody has a piece. And I appreciate the support. Please leave your messages. Your reviews is what they're actually called. Subscribe, download, spread the word here on the Goldie on Ice podcast. And again, a big thanks to Hammer & Bank for sponsoring the podcast throughout the playoffs, and our producer, Brett Markowitz, who at times was out of town, out of the country, and he was posting the podcast, I think, from like Italy during the Eastern Conference Final and the Cup Final. So thanks to him. We'll talk to you soon, everybody. Congrats.